Hey, welcome back to the Tool Shed. I'm always excited to share tools with you. This one is truly beautiful. It's just beautiful. I mean, some of them I use on a regular basis as an actual practical tool. Was more of a conceptual tool that sits in the back of my mind, but I want to bring it to the front of my mind and share it with you, and you'll use it as you see fit. It's called Be a Jack Pine because it's taken from an excerpt written by Douglas Wood, and he writes the following. Jack pines are not lumber trees, and they won't win many beauty contests either. But to me, this valiant old tree is as beautiful as a living thing can be. In the calligraphy of its shape against the sky is written strength of character and perseverance, survival of wind, drought, cold, heat, disease. In its silence, it speaks of wholeness and integrity that comes from being what you are. So a jack pine, in case you're not a botanist, is not, as Douglas Wood said, not the most beautiful trees. Oftentimes you'll see them like up on cliffs, sort of defying almost what seems possible, growing through the rock. They're old, they're weathered, they look gnarled. You ever seen like a picture of a person's face who just has craggles in it and fissures, and it just looks like they've been beaten up by life. And yet, the people that I meet with those faces, I met a woman in particular once. I wrote about her in my book Spark Seekers. Her face was so beaten and weathered, and it was so freaking beautiful. And she told me her story, and she became more beautiful. Those cracks, those fissures, became what I call warrior marks, right? Just showing how has faced life and endured hardship, even hell, and she's still surviving. And that's the jack pine. We don't live in a jack pine culture. We live in a redwood culture. These magnificent trees, or I live here in Colorado where we have aspens just glistening and glowing in the wind. And I had a couple aspen trees. They went down in the last storm. They one of the first trees in my yard to catch disease, and I had to cut them down. I don't have a jack pine, but I wouldn't mind some jack pines because they're just, again, resilient. And I don't know about my yard, but certainly my life. It's too easy to want to be the redwood or the aspen and not really appreciate the people around us who are jack pines, but also the jack pine quality in us. To be a jack pine, right? It's not used for lumber trees. It's not practical. It's not pragmatic. It's a deeper quality. It may not, win you friends and influence people, but it will keep you coming back to, well, that integrity. An integrity that comes from being who you are, wrote Wood. And that's really the beauty of the jack pine. It knows who he is. It knows what he is. And because of that, he makes, as Dr. Frankl would call, his defiant stand, wherever that might be. Again, could be in the most harsh elements. It could be against all odds, but that's where that jack pine puts down roots, and it's true to who he is, not trying to be somebody, something else other than what he is. That's the wholeness we're speaking about, and that's the wholeness of a jack pine. Thinking about your life, right? Those ways that you have tried to be something other than you are, ultimately, that's the stuff that leads to our demise. When we're trying to be a version of us, a variation of us, or we're compartmentalizing our lives. Over here in our professional life, we act this way. But in our personal life, we act this way. And then with this friend, we're this kind of person, and with that friend or acquaintance or colleague, we're that kind of person. That's the stuff, I see it all day, every day, that breaks down our character, that compartmentalizes our lives, that suffocates our soul, as opposed to being honest and raw and real. This is who I am. This is where I stand. This is where I put down my roots. No, not going to win me any beauty contests. Nope, not going to be, valued high price as I go to a lumber mill, though I'm not sure that analogy works. Who wants to be, sawed down as the outcome? I'm going to make my stand on this hill right here, right now. I'm going to put down roots, and that's what a jack pine does, and that's who a jack pine is. So, yes, there's a time to be the aspen tree and the redwood and the oak tree and all these beautiful, luxurious revered trees, but at the end of the day, if I have to choose, I'm going to be that resilient jack pine, to be that man, that person that I am put here to be. That's what it means to be a jack pine. Take that with you out into the world and be a jack pine. Until the next tool, defy your number, live your spirit. In this case, live that jack pine spirit within you.